Honey breads. Hamster chef rides a mini bicycle to the store to buy matcha powder. It squeaks its way there, happily returning home with a can of matcha. It beats eggs, adds sugar and flour, and mixes them into a batter, carefully blending in the matcha. It pours the batter into a tray and bakes it in the oven. Once baked, it spreads cream, rolls the cake, and cuts it into pieces. Hamster chef eats a bite, full of happiness. Finally, Hamster chef shares the matcha cake roll with a stray puppy. Hamster chef hops on a mini motorcycle and rides to the store to buy a bag of flour. Back home, it mixes the flour, sugar, and cocoa powder, then cracks in some eggs, stirring it into a thick chocolate batter. Carefully, it pours the batter into cupcake liners and bakes them in the oven. Once baked, Hamster chef spreads chocolate frosting on top. Finally, it shares the cupcakes with a stray puppy at a street corner. Smiling at the puppy happily enjoys the treat. Hamster chef rides a motorcycle to the supermarket to buy milk, chocolate, and sugar. Back home, it melts the chocolate in a mini kitchen, stirs in milk and sugar, and freezes it in the fridge. Hours later, the chocolate ice cream is ready. It takes a bite, then runs to the street corner to share with a group of stray cats. Hamster chef decides to make French baguettes. It rides a mini motorcycle to the supermarket to buy ingredients. At the supermarket, it selects the best flour, loading them into the cart. Hamster chef busily kneads the dough, then waits for the bread to rise. It shapes the dough and places it in a small oven. The bread comes out golden and crispy, filling the air with a delicious aroma. Finally, it invites a stray kitten to share. Hamster chef rode a red motorcycle to the bakery and bought a red bean bun. With one bite, the sweet, soft red bean filling surprised it delightfully. It went to the supermarket to buy flour, red beans, and sugar to take home. Hamster chef kneaded dough, stuffed it with red bean filling, and with a ding from the oven, fragrant buns were ready. Hamster chef invited a bird friend to share the treats on the grass. Hamster chef rode a small motorcycle to the orchard, picking the reddest, sweetest strawberries under the sun to fill its basket. Back in the mini kitchen, it carefully mixed batter, added strawberry jam, and baked a fluffy strawberry sponge cake. After the cake was done, it spread cream and decorated it with fresh strawberries. Finally, Hamster chef shared the sweet strawberry cake with a small little yellow duck. Hamster chef rides a motorcycle, zooming toward the orchard, picks golden mangoes and puts them in a small basket. Back in the mini kitchen, it peels and cuts the mangoes, blends them with milk and ice into a smooth milkshake, pouring it into small cups with tiny straws. Hamster chef invites the little yellow duck friend to enjoy it at the salad table. Hamster chef rides a mini motorcycle to the orchard, picking fresh blueberries to fill a basket. Then, it rides to the supermarket, slipping into the fridge to choose a smooth piece of cheese. Back in the mini kitchen, it mixes the cheese into a batter, stirs in blueberries, and bakes a cake in a small oven, the aroma wafting as it finishes. Hamster chef shares the cake with a yellow and white stray kitten. Hamster chef rides a small motorcycle to the store to buy dark chocolate. Hamster chef picked a chocolate bar at the chocolate shop. Back home, it melts the chocolate, mixes the dough, and adds chocolate chunks. The hamster watches the cookies bake in the oven, the aroma wafting out. Fresh from the oven, golden crispy chocolate cookies are done. Hamster chefs with a much smaller kitten, sharing warm cookies, overflowing with happiness. Hamster chef rides a motorcycle to the store to buy flour. It picks a bag of fine flour from the shelf and returns to its mini kitchen to crack eggs, mix milk and the flour to make a rich batter. It heats a small skillet and fries toast until golden and crispy. Hamster chef invites his little bird friend to share the warm toast drizzled with maple syrup. Hamster chef decides to make a cheesecake. It gathering cracker crumbs, cream cheese, and mixes the cheese batter into a mold. The golden, crispy cheesecake comes out, filling the air with aroma. Hamster chef checks it, sneaks a taste of the batter, and nods happily. It cuts the cake, splits it, and sits down to enjoy its delicious creation with delight. A hamster is on its way to the mall and wants to buy today's ingredients. He chose the oatmeal he liked and immediately cooked the oatmeal when he got home. While eating, he also showed a satisfied smile. Another day in the life of a little hamster, he's kneading dough wanting to make a pizza. Two hamsters are discussing the pizza making process. The pizza is being heated and baked. The little hamster is taking the pizza out. The little hamster smiles happily and contentedly. Hamster chef went to the cinema and bought popcorn, eating it while watching the movie, finding it delicious. Back home, he studied the recipe to make popcorn and went to the store to buy corn. Sprinkled sugar on the popcorn and the aroma filled the air. After finishing, Hamster chef gave it to a stray cat on the street, watching the cat eat with satisfaction. A hamster with a checkered apron stands at the sushi shop door, ready to start work. It cuts salmon in the kitchen, preparing ingredients with focus, then rolls sushi on the bamboo mat, smiling. Next, it serves the sushi to a customer, earning a satisfied nod. After work, the hamster sits on the steps outside, eating its own sushi, looking content. The hungry hamster decided to make ramen in its mini kitchen. It mixed flour, an egg, and water into a soft dough, then rolled and cut it into fine noodles. As the water boiled, it cooked the noodles and finally enjoyed its tasty ramen. A hamster prepares to make perfect croissants, starting with the ingredients and kneading the dough with tiny paws to ensure softness and elasticity. It places them in a mini oven, then presents the golden croissants at a competition. Finally, it raises the championship trophy on the podium, celebrating its victory and shining at the center of attention. The little hamster decides to make a katsu danbori. In a mini kitchen, it coats it in flour, egg, and breadcrumbs, fries it in a heat oil pot, and adds a sizzled Japanese egg. Then bites, crunch echoing, savoring awesome bliss. Hamster chef decided to make char siu rice. He went to the meat market. Next, he cut the pork into small pieces, marinated it with soy sauce, honey, and 5-spice powder and placed it in a mini oven to roast until fragrant and golden. Meanwhile, he cooked white rice in a small pot, the aroma wafting through the air. Hamster chef sliced char siu, laid it over the steamy rice. Finally, hamster chef happily enjoying his tasty masterpiece. Hamster chef rides a squeaky motorcycle to a milk tea shop and orders a pearl milk tea, exclaiming, "So delicious," after a sip. Back home, it brews black tea with milk, kneads tapioca flour into pearls, boils them until chewy and transparent, then mixes them with brown sugar syrup and adds them to the milk tea. Taking a sip, it nods with satisfaction, smiling proudly, feeling like a genius chef. Lolo cat decided to make fried rice. It ran to the garden to dig up carrots and picked two fresh eggs from the farm's chicken coop. Back in the kitchen, the kitten fried the eggs until golden. Added leftover rice to stir fry until fragrant. When the fried rice was ready, Lolo cat meowed happily, holding the steaming dish. Finally, it sat at a small table, eating the fried rice with a spoon. On a beautiful day, Lolo cat selects cheese at the supermarket. Lolo cat kneading dough into a round base with focus. It spreads tomato sauce, sprinkles cheese. Lolo cat fetches pineapple chunks and ham slices, carefully placing them. Lolo cat opens the oven door with anticipation, taking a big bite of the pizza, cheese stretching as it happily squints. Little Lolo cat deciding to make pasta. It boils water with salt, fries garlic, adds butter, tomato sauce, and milk for sauce. Lolo cat mixes it, adds cheese and basil, and eats happily at the mini table. Halfway, it shares some with a thin stray cat outside. Lolo cat decided to make a golden steak. It rode a small motorcycle, excitedly heading to the meat stall, and picked a prime steak there. Lolo cat carefully patted the steak, sprinkled it with salt and pepper, then fried it until golden and aromatic. Lolo cat delicately wrapped the steak in gold foil, making a shimmer. Lolo cat took a bite of his homemade luxurious steak and smiled happily. Lolo cat makes a chocolate cake, flour, cocoa, sugar, and eggs. It stirs the batter, splashing cocoa on its fur, and sneaks a lick. After pouring it into a mini mold and baking it, Lolo cat watches it rise. Once done, it decorates with cream and sprinkles, then shares it with a stray kitten in the mini yard for its birthday, cutting a warm slice. Lolo cat rides a small bicycle to the butcher shop to buy beef, picks a fresh piece, puts it in the basket, and heads home. In a tiny kitchen, it shapes the beef into a patty, sprinkles salt and pepper. Lolo cat heats a pan, fry it golden and juicy. Next, it assembles a burger with lettuce, tomato, the patty, and a squeeze of sauce. Finally, it takes a big bite and meows with satisfaction. A little cat named Lolo cat wanted to make steamed buns. One morning, in its tiny kitchen, it kneaded dough with warm water, mixed a filling of pork, onions, soy sauce, and salt. Roll the dough into skins. Wrap the filling into buns and steam them for 15 minutes. When the hot buns were done, Lolo cat took a bite, meowed happily, and felt proud. Lolo cat decides to go to the pasture. After stopping the cow, Lolo cat proudly rides it home. It knocks the cow out with a small stick and carefully cuts off a piece of beef. Then, in the kitchen, it fries the beef, sprinkling salt and pepper. Finally, Lolo cat sits at a normal-sized dining table, eating a beautifully plated steak. Lolo cat decides to make a grilled shrimp feast. It waits patiently, jumps with excitement when a big shrimp is caught, and takes it home to wash. Season with salt and pepper and grill on a small rack in the mini kitchen. The shrimp comes out golden and crispy, filling the air with aroma, and Lola cat happily enjoys it. A skinny stray dog stands on the street by the window, stomach growling. Lola cat sees it, feels pity, jumps off the windowsill, and runs to the kitchen. It takes bread, spreads peanut butter, adds ham and cheese, and makes a sandwich. Lola cat splits it in half, walks to the dog, and gives it one half. Finally, Lola cat and the stray dog become friends, happily playing on the grass. Thanks for watching.